Hi everybody, and welcome to Squirrel Pie Productions, my podcast about knitting, spinning, and sewing. My name is Tommi, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as as Dynamite Trujillo. Thank you for being here. Today is a beautiful, sunny, warm, and lovely Friday in September, where I'm coming to you from on the Northern California coast. I'm really excited that it is September. So, thank you to new viewers. If you're checking out my podcast for the first time, I appreciate it so much, and thank you very much to returning viewers. It is lovely to see you again, as always. We do have a Ravelry group for this podcast that you should go join if you have not yet. It's where you'll find show notes for this episode and all previous episodes. It's also where you'll find knit along news and giveaway news. And just so you know, I do post show notes for every episode. So if there's anything I talked about that you want to see a link to, or anything that you forgot that I said and want to see what it was that I said, go check out the Ravelry group. All the information is there. So I have a knit along that I'm starting. It is the Deep Dark Night knit along. So this knit along has to do with things that are dark, things of the nighttime, things that are creepy, things that kind of anything that has to do with that whole theme or vibe. It's going to be welcome. It's going to be open to any craft, knitting, crocheting, sewing, cross stitch, whatever. It's going to run now, and whoops will be allowed, through pretty much Halloween. I'm going to wrap it up just after Halloween, early November, and I'll draw for prizes my first podcast after Halloween. So there will be a chatter thread and an FO thread, and I just want you to make things along with me that are deep and dark and nighttime and creepy and fall-y and cold. Anything that has to do with that. It can be theme-wise, it can be pattern-wise, anything that has to do with that kind of thing. It can be that you're knitting with a dark color. So make it work, you know? It's one of those kind of knit-alongs where take what you've got and figure out how it works and enter it. So like I said, there will be a chatter thread that is going to be open now. So start posting what you're working on, and then throughout the knit-along, I'll be drawing kind of random prizes from that thread, and then there'll be an FO thread. So what you'll do is take your finished object, post it in the FO thread, tell me how it relates to the theme Deep Dark Night, and I'll draw for prizes at the end of the knit-along. So I'm so excited to have another knit-along happening right now. I felt like something was missing these past couple weeks with no knit-along. I needed to get one going. And I thought of this the other night when I was working on one of my projects, and the term Deep Dark Night just kind of popped into my head, and I was like, I gotta roll with that. I really gotta roll with it. And I decided to Google it to see if there was anything that already had that name that I was gonna be unaware that it was gonna be associated with, you know what I mean? The only thing that came up was this music video. So I clicked on it, and it's amazing. I'm gonna link to it in the show notes. This is the theme song to this knit-along. So it's a song called Deep Dark Night, and it's by someone who I'd never heard of before, but I'm obsessed with now. His name is Patrick Jouvet, and I believe he was, or still is possibly, a Swiss, disco artist. I know. He's amazing. So I ended up, going on this YouTube binge of his videos, and he put out a lot of music, I think in the late 70s, maybe early 80s, and I watched a bunch of his videos, and they're so good. He was this just beautiful long blonde hair kind of guy, and he sung these amazing dance songs, and he'd made these music videos, and they're so good. Anyway, Deep Dark Night is the name of one of his songs, and I watched that video and decided this is the theme song to this knit-along. So if you're interested in watching it, check out the show notes. I'm going to link to it. It's good. It's so good. I feel kind of dumb that I've never heard of this guy before because I love him now. He is amazing. Anyway, join in the knit along. Hashtag on Instagram, Deep Dark Night Cal. And we'll get it going. I've got something that I'm working on now for it. It's what inspired the Deep Dark Night knit along. And I'm excited. I'm just excited for the season to be beginning. September, it's a summery month here where I live, but I feel like it's the start of Halloween season. And I love Halloween. It's my favorite. It's my second favorite holiday. Labor Day is my first favorite holiday. Halloween's my second favorite holiday. Anyway, let's move on to what I am wearing. I am wearing my Alabama Channin tunic that I made sometime last year, I think. I have the book Alabama Channin Patterns, I think it is. I will link to it in the show notes. And it's a sewing pattern book that has these, her style is just amazing. It's these like kind of earthy, flowy, almost hippie kind of dresses and tops, and I think there's some pants in it too, maybe. There's a coat. It's just really beautiful, kind of earthy stuff, and I love it. It all calls for like hand sewing, which I'm kind of not into, so I did not hand sew this. I took the pattern and I machine sewed it, and it's a little janky, as is like everything that I make, but I love it. It fits great, and it's a sleeveless tunic, and it comes down to like mid-thigh. I love it. I made it out of this really thick jersey fabric with seagulls on it. I'm also wearing my featherweight cardigan. This is a knitting pattern by Hannah Fettig, and I knit this out of Imperial Yarns Tracy 2, which is a sport weight woolen spun 100% wool yarn. It's gorgeous. I love it. All right, on to FOs, because I have one, and I'm just so freaking excited to have it done, and I love it. I've been wearing it nonstop. It's the best. You want to see it? You want to know what it is? It's the Rebel 2 shawl. It's so totally done. So here it is. This is a pattern by Lesley Ann Robinson. It's a big brioche shawl, and it's freaking gorgeous, and I love it. So it's a crescent-shaped shawl. It's pretty dang long, and it's got these, okay, so like this whole time I've been like, what are these little things here? Are they flowers? Are they, I don't know. Okay, so there's been some discussion, and I'm pretty sure that these little details, these brioche details here, are supposed to be the Rebel Alliance logo from Star Wars. I sound like such a dork. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I love, seriously, super love Star Wars. But I'm really bad with details like that, so I'm like, it's the Rebel logo. The Rebel Alliance symbol, that's the word. So there's a bunch of those on it. And the bottom kind of like brioche lace pattern, I'm pretty sure is a little off. I'm pretty sure I made a mistake. Actually, it looks really good looking at it right now. But I feel like towards like one side, it gets to be a little wrong. But I don't really know. I don't really care. I think it's really beautiful, and I love it. And I just love wearing it so much. The yarn, you want to know what yarn I used? So the pink here, which was the main color, that is Moonstone Dyeworks, which is my hand-dyed yarn company, in the Merino Singles base in the F Me Pumps colorway. And the contrasting color on the back is Volan Vine Yarns in the Nouveau base in the Goth Day Cake colorway. And I bought that for myself for my birthday. And check it out. This excites me so much. This is how much yarn I had left over. Right? Seriously, this is like probably total 4 grams of yarn. or 5. I don't know. But it's a teeny tiny amount of yarn. I used up all my yarn. I love it when that happens. I'm a yarn chicken junkie. And I never felt like I was playing yarn chicken. I never felt like I was scared of running out of yarn. But it's just so satisfying. And these little scraps are going to go into one of my projects that I'm going to talk about later. So I'm going to use all of it. So this was such a satisfying thing to get finished. I love both sides. I love the main side and the contrast side. I think it's gorgeous. And it's so wearable. I love that about a shawl, when it's just like super easy and wearable. I quite enjoy wearing my shawls like this. This is like my favorite way to wear shawls. And kind of ends up looking like that when you wear it. And this is mostly the way I wear my elongated shawls. I love it. It's kind of scarf-like. But it also looks really good in the kind of more traditional bandana style. Like this. And it also looks really, really good like this. I seriously really love this shawl. I highly recommend it. It is a lot of brioche. Now, I have been obsessed with brioche over these past few months. I hosted a brioche knit along. I was trying to convince everybody who watches this podcast to go out and knit brioche themselves because I love it. But this was my breaking point. This shawl was my breaking point. I am done with brioche for a while. I need a break. I'm not giving up on it completely. I still love it. I think I prefer small amounts of brioche in a project, like the Exploration Station, like the Oracle shawl, rather than a project that is all brioche like this. And there are a lot of really gorgeous patterns out there that are all brioche, but I have a feeling I won't be knitting any of them anytime soon. But I'm so happy with this. This was like my ultimate brioche dream, and it came true. So I knit this on a size 5 high sharp. I believe the pattern called for a size 4. I went up a size because I'm a rebel. And I blocked it out on a lot of blocking mats. It blocked out really nice and big. I used blocking wires at the top, and then at the bottom I pinned all of these points out. And it came out really well. Really super well. I wore it immediately after I took it off the blocking mat. I did put some pictures up on Instagram of me wearing it at the beach. That was immediately after I took it off the blocking mat. Like, my husband and I went to the beach after work one day, and I was like, wait, let me take this off the blocking mat, and I wore it, and it was just so fun. I love it. I love it a lot. I'm so happy that I'm done with it and I can wear it now. I think if you've got the inclination to knit like a lot of brioche, do it. Totally make this shawl. It's so worth it. It's so gorgeous. I love it so much. So yay. I love my finished object. Okay. So that's that. Rebel 2. Yes. Now on to works in progress. I've got a few whips this week, including my spousal socks. This is my awesome library bag with my awesome Pusheen Riding a Vespa pin on it. And in here I've got some socks for my husband. And it is a tangled mess because I'm kind of doing them 2 at a time. And it's crazy. So I am knitting these socks out of Knit Picks Stroll Tweed in the Cobblestone Heather colorway. And I've got 3 50-gram balls. And this is what I have so far of the first sock. And this is the total length that he wants these socks to be. So I tried it on him, and this is how long they're going to be. I'm about to start the heel flap. I'm going to do a heel flap and gusset. This is a mostly vanilla sock with a little bit of ribbing down the side. And this one's 70 stitches around. Knit on a size 0 for the cuff and a size 1 for the rest of the sock. This is my Lost and Fond project progress keeper. It's Panda. And they're great. They're going by super fast. They're zooming along. But the yarn isn't my favorite. It's, I don't know. It's loosely plied and it's kind of boring. I don't have any like valid gripes with it or anything. It's just kind of boring. I don't know. So I've got this sock on some DPN holders because I stole the needles for a different project. My second sock I'm working on concurrently, and this is what I have so far. And this is my other Lost and Fond sheet progress keeper, which is the best. So I'm coming along on this one. The idea behind this one is 72 stitches around. So the first one is 70, this one's 72. One is going to be for his left foot, one's going to be for his right foot. He has two slightly different sized feet. And I did not necessarily make them to fit like that on purpose. I just accidentally cast on the wrong number of stitches for one of them. So I was like, let's roll with it. And the idea behind these socks is it's got this little bit of ribbing on each one. And that ribbing on each one is going to lie on the outside of each sock. So he'll know which one's the left and which one's the right. And to me, the benefit of the ribbing is that there'll be a little bit more give. They'll be a little more forgiving in terms of size and snugness and all that. So these are my high sharps. And I was knitting these concurrently, like with needles in both of them. But like I said, I stole the needles out of the other one. And so there are my two balls. Here's my socks. He loves tweed. He loves gray. So that's what he's getting. He's going to be getting a hat soon too. He said he wanted a ribbed hat out of, well, we decided that it would be out of Brooklyn tweed shelter. So I have to have him pick colors. I'm excited about that. Not excited about knitting a 1x1 hat, but it'll go quick. It'll go super quick. He loves tweed though. That's why he likes Brooklyn tweed too. He has another hat that I knit out of him, that I knit for him out of Brooklyn tweed. It's another gray, dark gray. It's their cast iron colorway tweed thing, and he likes it, and yay. So that's been happening. My next pair of socks, and these are the socks that I had to steal those needles for because I only have two pairs of size 1. I think it's 32 inch that I use for Magic Loop. So I can only actually make 2 socks at a time, which is dumb. I need to buy more. I need to buy more needles. So this sock project I'm super excited about. This is my first entry into the Deep Dark Night Cal, and it's with my brand new Halloween colorway that I created. So this is Moonstone Dyeworks' new Halloween colorway that just debuted yesterday, and there is still some in the shop, so grab it if you want it. Here it is. It is called Undead, and it's a speckled yarn with pops of black, hot pink, and this like dingy fluorescent green. I love it so much. And I had to cast a pair of socks on, like, immediately, so I did. So here's what I have so far. These are my Undead socks, my first entry into the Deep Dark Night Cal, and I love them. They are my standard vanilla socks, so they have got 56 stitches. I cast on using the German Twisted Cast On as well as my spousal socks, same cast on. 2x2 rib on a size 1 needle, and then I went up to a size 1 for the body of the sock. And I am knitting these up crazy fast because I'm like super addicted to it. I love how these are coming out so much. So these are my Halloween socks. Yay! And I'm having a lot of fun. And I will be doing, like I normally do, a heel flap and gusset for these socks. And a rounded toe with the Kitchener finish, which is my favorite toe. And this is my Stellina sock base. So it's superwash merino, nylon, and Stellina. And I am just so in love with it. I cannot wait to wear these. So that's been crazy fun. This is my Sugar Tots Fox bag that I am obsessed with and I love. All right, that's all my sock action. I'm so happy to be knitting all the vanilla socks. I love it. Next up is another new cast on. So my mother's birthday is coming up in September this month, and she picked out this pattern and this yarn the last time that she visited me. She picked out this yarn from my stash, and then we shopped Ravelry together and found a hat that she wanted, and I'm finally making it for her. It's going to be her birthday present, so oops if you're watching, spoiler. So this is Dream in Color Smooshy, and it is in the Campfire Connections colorway. So it's browns, brownish reds, yellows, stuff like that, really earthy. And their smooshy base is a 100% wool fingering weight yarn. And I am knitting the Norby hat, which is a pattern by Gudrun Johnson, and it's through Brooklyn Tweed. And this is what I have so far. So it's been a really fun pattern to knit so far. It's got this garter brim, and then it's got a chevron pattern to it, which I love knitting chevron. Seriously, it's like one of my favorite patterns to knit. I love it so much. I find it to be so much fun. So this has been really fun. It's chevron, stockinette chevron alternating with garter. So it's just that all the way up to the top of the hat. And then there's a tassel on top that hangs off of like a cord. Not my style particularly, but my mom loved it. So I am going to do the cord at the top with the tassel that hangs off at the back. And I'm excited. I really been having a good time working on this. This is like, I've always loved knitting chevron, and this is super rekindling it. I actually have another chevron pattern that's a long-standing, what do you call it, UFO. I started it last year, I think. It's in like, I showed it once on the podcast, I think, in an early episode. And it's a chevron wrap by Beata Jezik, I think is how you pronounce her name, from Hedgehog Fibers. She writes a lot of really fantastic free knitting patterns. I love her designs. And it's one of those. And working on this is making me want to pick that up again. So this has actually been a lot funner than I thought it was going to be, honestly. I'm really having a good time working on this. I am knitting it on size 4 high sharps on a 16-inch cable. And it's zooming along. Hopefully I'm going to be done with this super quick and I can mail it out to her in time for her birthday. It might be a late birthday present though, we'll see. And yeah. So that is the Norby hat by Gudrun Johnson. And that is that for that. My last work in progress is the big hoo-ha for the episode. It's the thing that I'm like crazy nuts excited about. I cast it on this morning. I cast it on like 2 hours ago, and I am super excited about it. It is the Marled Magic. So, here's my yarn, and here's my project. This is being knit for the Jinx Vine Knit Along 2017. So Laura, who is Jinx and from Jinx Yarn, and Kristen, who is Vine from Vine Yarn, they are co-hosting a knit along for the Marled Magic shawl, which is a Stephen West pattern. I'm so excited. I love Stephen West. I've only knit one of his patterns before, and it was for another knit along, for his exploration station. And this was his mystery knit along from last year. And I did not partake, even though I really wanted to, because I don't do mystery knit alongs. I just can't make myself do it. I get scared. So I didn't do it, but after it was completely released, I fell in love with it, and I'm so excited to be working on it. So when they announced they were having a knit along, I was like, heck yeah, count me in, sucker. So here's what I have so far. I love it so much. So the Marled Magic, as I'm sure you are aware, is a big, gorgeous, beautiful, kind of modular knit shawl. And you knit with fingering weight yarn, mostly, if you want. And you hold it double, and you change up the yarns every once in a while so that it creates a marled effect throughout the whole thing. And what I'm doing is using all scraps. So there's going to be a lot of colors in it. It's going to be crazy. I cannot wait. I'm so excited. So this is the first part of section 1. I've got my Tilting Planet Progress Keeper, which I am in love with. And pretty much what I've done so far is I have chosen one main color for the section 1 for one strand. I'm going to use this throughout the whole entirety of section 1 for one of the strands. And this is a skein of yarn that was a test run for Moonstone Dyeworks. So before I actually started up the shop, I did a lot of dyeing to experiment. And this was one of my experiments, and I did end up naming it even though it never made it into the shop. And it's the All the Boys colorway. And it's on a base that also did not make it into the shop, which is a 4-ply 100% merino fingering. And I really like it. It just didn't make it. Didn't make the cut. So I do have some skeins of this lying around that I did dye stuff on that I'm excited to be able to use. I love this colorway. It's neon and speckly and amazing. And what I have on right now, so that first skein is going to be held for one strand throughout the whole entirety of section 1, and then the second strand is going to change as I go. So what I have connected right now is Grainbow by Jinx Yarns, and this was a self-striping colorway that I purchased from her, and I love. I'm actually I'm wearing my Grainbow socks right now. I knit a pair of socks out of this. And this is in her strong sport base, so this is a sport weight yarn. I don't think it matters too much. It seems to be working out fine. And the really nice thing about using that yarn is it's self-striping, so I'm holding it in the pattern longer than I have the first couple of yarns. So let's see what you can see here. So I've got the All the Boys, that is the consistent colorway throughout. And then down here at the bottom, I started it with my Mild Envy colorway, which is a mint green. And then right here, I've got a skein of Greenwood Fiber Arts, some leftovers in, I'm not sure the colorway name, but it was a really super awesome, like hot pink and purple and blue kind of speckle. And so that's the second color that I striped in. And then I went straight into the Jinx. And that's been going through its striping pattern. So I am just super in love with this so far. Here are all my ends. Part of the pattern is that you leave all your ends hanging, and then you will be doing something with those later that I think is super cool. I'm so excited about this. I cannot wait to keep working on it. So I pretty much gathered, oh, and this is living in my Ghastly's project bag. I pretty much gathered a bunch of scraps and filled this bag with them. And I'm just gonna what I've been doing is just laying them all out and choosing colors from my pile as I go. This one I'm really excited about. This is my only tiny skein of Shetland Spindrift from Jameson's that I've ever had. And it's so pretty. I freaking love it. I have got all kinds of stuff in here. This is leftover linen yarn from my Nianin top. I have got some leftover stranded Dyeworks from my socks that I made out of that. Hey Holly Ho Hum from some socks. This is the teeny tiny leftover bit that I have from my handspun Girl from the Grocery Store shawl that I wore last week. I have got some Woolen Vine yarns, some hedgehog, my only skein of hedgehog fibers that I've ever had, and I've been totally coveting it for so long, and I finally get to use it. I'm so excited. This is the Exploding Peacock colorway, and I'm so stoked. I have got also some neutrals in here. This is Swan's Island Fingering. And one of my other favorite neutrals that I've got, what am I doing? Is this, which is the Fiber Company. And this is a wool linen blend. It's heavy lace weight, I think. And this was left over from a really gorgeous shawl that I made. I believe it was a design by Maria Monska. And I love that. And ooh, I've got some more handspun. I've got some white handspun in here. So, yeah. I've got a lot of stuff. It's all a horrible tangled mess. Seriously, it really is. Ooh, this is some of my favorites. I've got two of my favorite sock yarns of all time in here. They're both 100% superwash merino, and they're both just really like high twist, like squishy, high twist, bouncy sock yarn, and my favorite socks are knit out of these. So this one's Madeline Tosh Euro sock in the Light Brights colorway. And these were my Christmas socks last year. And I love this yarn. This is like, this is my leftover, and I just covet this little ball. I love it. And then this is Jill Draper Makes Stuff in the Ecipe Space. And my other favorite socks that I ever knit are out of this. I love this yarn so much. And I'm just super stoked on this pattern. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to get really deep into it and like do all the sections and change all the colors, and oh, I'm excited. I love Stephen West patterns, and I want to knit all of them. So that's all I've been working on this week. It has been awesome and fun, and I love it. And now I'm going to move on to shop update stuff. My normally scheduled shop update for Moonstone Dyeworks on Etsy would have been tomorrow, which is Saturday. But I put it up early in celebration of Labor Day. And in celebration of Labor Day, we are having a 20% off sale. No coupon code required. Everything's just 20% off in the shop right now. I put it up yesterday, and the sale is going to run until Monday, September 4th, which is Labor Day. So everything in the shop all weekend long until Monday is 20% off. I did put in the shop my new Halloween colorway, which is Undead, and there are still some skeins left in the shop if you're interested in getting those. I did another Halloween colorway called Haunted, and those have sold out, but I also did a Labor Day color. Let me just show you. Let me just get them. I have a few of them here. So my Labor Day colorway that I created is called Working Girl Blues. and I really, really love it. So it's pretty much pinks and kind of greenish brownish speckles with some blue in there. I love that little section. And this is Working Girl Blues, my Labor Day colorway. So I've got a few of those in the shop still. This one is on the Merino single base, which is my single ply. And then Undead, here it is in the skein. And I'm just so in love with this colorway. I love it so much. So it's pretty much black and neon speckles. There's a lot of hot pink, a lot of green, a lot of kind of zombie green, maybe. And yeah, I'm super into it. I love it. So check that out. There is a bunch of this still in the shop right now, and it is 20% off through Monday. So get on your Halloween knitting and into the Deep Dark Night Cow. I do also have some other colorways in the shop that I don't have here with me, but check it out if you're interested. It's Moonstone Dyeworks on Etsy. Everything's 20% off right now in celebration of Labor Day, because Labor Day is my favorite holiday. So I hope you enjoy. Next, I'm going to move on to favorites. So for my favorites this week, I received an awesome package in the mail that I'm just going to show you a couple things from. So me and Caitlin from the WoolJewel Podcast did a swap, and I got her package for me, and I just love it so much. It was amazing. Thank you so much, Caitlin. And if you haven't checked out the WoolJewel Podcast yet, you definitely should. She is one of my favorite podcasts. She knits a lot of Stephen West sweaters, which is like my favorite thing about her podcast. She's big into sweater knitting, which I think is awesome. And she has knit all of those, or many of those amazing Stephen West garments. And I just think it's so cool. So cool. Caitlin, you are so cool. Anyway, here's a couple things that she sent me, and I'm going to show you like the most exciting thing first. So she lives in Germany, and she picked this up. She said they just sell this stuff at the grocery stores there, which is just like so cool. So she sent me some Regia Perfect, which I'm so excited to try. I don't think I've knit with Regia yarn yet. I've knit with a couple of like the German sock yarn brands, Schockenmeyer, which Regia is a part of. Maybe I have knit with Regia. I've knit with Opal. I don't know. I can't remember. But I've never knit with Perfect. So I'm super stoked on that. Look at that. So you just like, you start from these yellow things, and it tells you like where to start so that each of your socks is like perfectly matching. And I am just so excited about this. I never really thought I would get my hands on this, and thank you so much, Caitlin. I am so excited. She sent me some other Regia yarn, which is some self-striping in these beautiful purples and maroons and golds, and perfect for fall. Perfect. Okay, so I'm so excited about this. She has just gotten into spinning pretty recently, and she hand dyes yarn herself, and she dyed up some roving for herself to spin, and she sent me a little teeny bit of it. And it's just so gorgeous. It's mauvey and like kind of light brown and like this like kind of grayish blue. I love it so much. These are like seriously my colors. I love this muted palette with like kind of gray tone as the base. I love it. I cannot wait to spin this up. So my plan for this is to spin a little bit of it and create like a little mini skein to add to my blanket and maybe to my Marled magic shawl. So that is awesome. She also sent me this little skein of Malabario, which is this gorgeous shade of kind of brownish purple. And I love it. Last skein of yarn that she sent me a ton of yarn. Oh my gosh, Caitlin, thank you so much. Is this really beautiful skein of hand-dyed yarn from Geektastic Fibers. And look at those colors. Another really fall, autumn sort of skein. I love it so much. And this is the label for that. So thank you so much, Caitlin. I love everything in here. I cannot wait to knit with this stuff. So that was just an awesome package to get in the mail. Kind of the best part about this package, though, are the hippos. So this is Kinder Happy Hippo, which is the best snack food candy of all time. If you have not tried these yet, find some. They're German, and they're my favorite. I'm not big into sweets, like candy and stuff. I'm just not huge into. But these suckers, I will eat all freaking day long. I don't know what it is, but they're so good. They're happy hippos. And they're shaped like hippos, and they have like this like chocolate cream inside. So good. They're like wafer cookies. I don't know what they are, but they're so good. So that was amazing. That was amazing. So that was such a fun package to get in the mail. I love getting mail, and it just made my day. Okay, so the other thing and the last thing I have to talk about is my background change. There's a little bit of a background change. I used to have a cork board right there with just a bunch of random stuff up on it, and I got that print for my birthday, and it was just the print itself. And I've had it sitting in an envelope since my birthday, which was a few months ago. And I wanted to get a really nice frame for it before I put it up. So I went on Etsy finally, and I found that really cool wooden frame, and I just love it so much. The print is of, it's called the, I'll put the name of it. It's called what are we called? The Spinsters, I think it is. And it's these three women wearing these beautiful yoked sweaters and these beautiful skirts. And one of them's holding a sheep and one of them's holding a spindle. And I think the other one's knitting. No, the other one's just holding a ball of yarn. And I love it so much. It's by Rose Witchery on Etsy. And she's an artist who, she sells her prints on Etsy. And her prints are, they're this beautiful style. And they're mostly inspired, I believe, by characters in maybe mythology or maybe just old stories. But they're mostly of these people doing these awesome things and with these awesome props. And she's got quite a few fiber-related prints that I just love so much. She's got another one of a woman sitting at a spinning wheel, and it's just, her stuff is amazing. She's actually creating a tarot deck right now based on some kind of mythology. I forget, I don't know. And I'm a part of like the Patreon thing for that because I really want to get the deck when it comes out. It's just gorgeous. She's on Instagram, Rose Witchery, and every once in a while she puts up like the new card that she's designed for her tarot deck. It's beautiful. Her artwork is just amazingly beautiful. So I finally got this framed, and I got the mat and the frame both also on Etsy. If you're interested, the frame is from Lunar Canyon, and they do like reclaimed, recycled wood picture frames. And then the mat I got from Mat Board Plus, also on Etsy. And they're really cool. They have like, they'll make you a mat in any size in like your choice of a bunch of colors. So I'm super happy with it. I love it. I'm so glad it's up there. I feel like it looks a lot, it makes me feel a lot nicer having this beautiful fiber related print there in lieu of the like kind of chaotic corkboard I had there. So that is a huge favorite of mine this week. I love it. So check out her shop on Etsy. I highly recommend it. She creates beautiful, beautiful artwork. And my other favorite this week is the fact that it's September, which is a month that I love, and next month is October, which is like, I have weird favoriting orders for things in my life. October is my second favorite month. My first favorite month is May because it's my birthday month. October is my second favorite month because it's the beginning of fall. It's the beginning of wood stove season. It's Halloween. And every October, I like to kind of focus I like to do something every October as like a theme for October. Last year was Edgar Allan Poe. I'm a huge Edgar Allan Poe addict. I love his poetry and his stories. And last October, I spent all of October reading his entire collection. And that was so much fun. And this October, what I've decided to do is to read. I did not look this up before I podcast, so I'm totally gonna forget what it's called. But I made the decision last October that I wanted to do it this October. But I'm gonna read a book. I'm gonna read Dracula, right? It's just called Dracula, right? I don't know who wrote it, but I'll put it on the screen. So last October, I went to one of our local theaters and saw the 90s version of Dracula. And I had never seen it before. I fell so hard in love with it. It was funny because I went with a few friends and my husband, and we walked out of the movie theater and all of them totally made fun of it and thought it was just so cheesy and stupid. And I was just in a daze of wonderment. I was so impressed by it. I fell so hardcore in love with it. And I decided I wanted to read the book, and I decided I wanted to wait until the following October to do it. So as soon as October hits, I'm going to be reading Dracula. I am so excited. I cannot wait. Right now I am still reading A Court of Thorns and Roses. I'm on to the second book now, and I love it. I am so into it. It is so fun to read. And that's a book whose author I cannot remember, but it's on the screen. So, yeah. That is it for this week of Squirrel Pie Productions. Thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun with you. I'm so glad you watched, and if you enjoyed the episode, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you have not yet. Thank you. I just can't say thank you enough for being here. I appreciate your presence and your time so much. Happy Labor Day weekend. I hope you are all doing something fun and or relaxing. Join the Knit Along, the Deep Dark Night Cal. It's going to run for 2 months from now until from now until Halloween. Check out the chatter thread on the Ravelry group. Join that Ravelry group if you want to. And I will see you guys next week. Have fun and stay awesome, guys. Bye.